What's going on? Welcome to Asian Cosell. So I got another one by Jason Whitlock. Will Angel Reese quit on the Chicago guy this season? And how is this gonna really play out? So let's listen to Jason and Steven here. So let's get into it.
Got the brakes beat off them by the New York Liberty, the defending champions. If you watched it, it was like, I think the game ended with a 24-point loss. But if you watched it, it was just as much a blowout as what the Fever put on, the 35-point loss. The Liberty pulled off at the end, or basically the entire fourth quarter and much of the second half. And the Chicago Sky kept their starters out there. The game wasn't as close as the final score. And Angel Reese was perhaps worse than these highlights I'm going to show you. Here's a little stretch of Angel Reese in the first half, or maybe even the first quarter, when she's struggling to get a shot up to the rim. Could we play the clip, shot number 2?
Cardoso with the miss. Angel Reese picks it up, what she's good at. Getting another offensive rebound. She says, give me that. How about another? Persistence trying to pay off. Jones gets a piece. Angel Reese won't give up. Jones with another block.
This is all part of the myth that I'm supposed to believe that Angel Reese is some great player, that she's the rival of Caitlin Clark, and that Indiana Fever fans taunted her with racial taunts, and people are actually believing it, buying it, and selling it. It's all a myth and a lie, and you have to be a part of some religious cult to actually believe that Angel Reese is some sort of effective, big-time basketball superstar. Your initial thoughts to that?
I mean, let's make this very clear in terms of actual skill and maybe even production. It is not a rivalry. And if it is a rivalry, it's Benzino biting at the heels of Eminem at his peak. I mean, what are we really doing here? Now, Jason, go back to the box score. You said she was 0 of 8 or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
She's literally the only player in basketball history at any level, male or female. You could literally see all her offensive touches in 45 seconds. I mean, just watching that, it reminded me of a dog chasing its tail. It's futile. She's going to keep trying. The harder they try, the worse the efforts get. That particular sequence reminds me of one of the most memorable playoff moments that I can remember. Is 1993 Game 5, Bulls-Knicks, tied up at 2. The Knicks had gone up 2-0 in that series, best known for the John Starks leaping left-handed dunk. Chicago ties it at 2 at Chicago Stadium. Game 5 goes back to the Garden. And Jason, you must have been able to remember this one. Knicks were down by 1, and Charles Smith had about 15 looks right underneath the basket. Kept getting blocked, kept getting blocked. Then he missed, kept getting blocked, and then he was stripped. And in essence, the series was over. Knick fans have never gotten over it. And Jason, I'll give Charles Smith this. He was actually met at the rim by great athletes. What's Angel Reese's excuse?
Oh, yeah. That's a different time, just like Magic and Bird. And yeah, I remember that game too, in Game 5. Charles Smith, I know you're going to talk about him because he was a Clipper, and then he went to New York, and yeah, he had a bunch of looks. Yeah, and the thing is, Angel Reese, we can't compare them to the Magic and Bird. It's all Caitlin Clark. But yeah, Angel Reese, 0 for 8, 45 seconds. And yeah, again, she's trying to be relevant, but she's really irrelevant. She wants to be a content creator. So that's what we're facing right here. So, yeah, will she quit with Chicago? Yeah, we'll see.
The other thing I want to admit is that Charles Smith was actually a pretty good NBA player.
He was.
Early in his career with the LA Clippers, he averaged 20 points a game. A couple years at the Knicks, he was a double-figure scorer. Angel Reese can rebound and has an attitude and has trolled Caitlin Clark into some sort of relevance.
If you don't know where to start in Top Heroes World, the Springland is a great place to start. There are low-level enemies in villages with free healing wells.
And get yourself.
And there's this racial protection of Angel Reese. Somehow she's important, and somehow anything that bad happens to her, because I'm sure what we're going to hear is like, well, she's struggling offensively because of all the stress she's dealing with. And she's created this stress by trolling Caitlin Clark and by trying to pick fights with Caitlin Clark and by jumping up and getting in Caitlin Clark's face. And Steve, this is going to end in embarrassing fashion. This is my prediction, Steve, that before this season is over, Angel Reese is going to figure out a way to tap out, quit basically, and demand some sort of trade, because this Chicago team is one of the worst teams in the WNBA, in my opinion. Part of that is because they can't even play the right way because they have to pretend that Angel Reese is some sort of offensive player, and they end up ignoring Carmela Cardoso, the actual better offensive player in the post.
Yeah, and of course, if they're going to trade her, who the hell wants to take her on? Who wants to deal with that headache? Because, yeah, Carmela Cardoso should be the one receiving that ball in the post. She should be the post player. She was actually drafted higher than Angel Reese. I think a 4th overall pick. So come on. And we're making Angel Reese poster child of this? No, it's Carmela Cardoso. And this guy is just now struggling. And a lot of players just rolled out because they don't want to play with Angel Reese. Let's call it for what it is. Even Haley Van Lith was like, oh, damn it, I got drafted by the sky. I know that look from her when she got drafted. So, yeah.
And so this is going to be a team that wins few games. Attendance in Chicago is going to dip as they continue to get the brakes beat off of them. And so the whole lie that people are coming out to see Angel Reese is going to get exposed, and Angel Reese is going to start sniffing around the WNBA transfer portal and look for a way out to go jump on some actual good team where she can just rebound and dress up as basketball Barbie. That's
But you know what,
prediction.
Jason? You know who would be the happiest about that? Her teammates. Someone tagged me and you on that particular clip, and they pointed out something that I didn't even notice. And it goes to show you how she sucks all the oxygen out of the room and takes away the attention of everyone else. During that stretch of bricks, her teammates are open. They're basically saying, hey, right here, I'm here. And I know their thought bubbles are thinking, my 22-footer has probably a better chance of going in than your 1-footer. I mean, look at these teammates like right here. Outlet it. Right, I'm here. I'm open. And I know this from being a very below average basketball player on the playground, and I've talked to people that have played the highest levels. The worst teammate is, or a bad teammate is, a black hole that scores a lot. You know what the worst teammate is? A black hole that can't. You have to know your role. And I want to apologize to Charles Smith. Anyone that I compare to Angel Reese, I want to apologize. I'm just telling you. And this was the greatness of Dennis Rodman. And I remember one of the defining plays he would make a lot. He would battle for a rebound. He'd be right underneath the basket. And there'd be times he had an open layup. You know what he would do, Jason? He would actually dribble the ball all the way out to half court where Isaiah was waiting for him, and they'd reset the offense. The crowd would go nuts at the Palace.
Steve, let me replay the clip of Angel Reese missing these shots. I want to highlight Steve's point. There's a woman off to the right of the screen on the baseline wearing black. She's underneath the basket right now. Then she'll eventually drift out. Watch what happens. She starts walking away. She starts walking back. She gives up and starts walking back on defense. She's giving up. And then Angel Reese finally throws the ball out. That's what Steve is talking about. And there's another clip in the second half where Carmela Cardoso gives up. And you can just see her kind of roll her eyes and start walking towards the sidelines and then look back over her shoulder to see what happens. Angel Reese is destroying the team. I want to play you one other thing, Steve, in back-to-back fashion, this religion of protecting Angel Reese. Don Staley was on the Breakfast Club, and they ask her about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. And I want you to listen to Don Staley lie here, and then I'm going to expose that she's lying. Play shot number 3.
But I wanted to ask, since we're talking about players, you know, the WNBA has taken a huge jump in the last couple of years, and I love it. My daughters love it. My sons love it. What do you think what's going on in the WNBA where it seems like they're pitting, you know, Caitlin Clark against Angel Reese, right? Kind of what they did in NBA back in the day, but it was more teams, right? I guess not, maybe not teams. It was Magic versus Bird, this one versus that one. But this one, it just seems like it seems very personable. So what are your thoughts? Like even the other day with that foul, and they called it a flagrant foul. I don't necessarily agree, but what are your thoughts on it?
You don't think it was a flagrant foul?
I think it was just a foul. From what I've seen, me playing basketball, me watching basketball, I think if it would have been anybody else, it might have just been a foul. I don't know if it was a flagrant, so just asking your thoughts.
Well, I think the officiating has a hard job. That's one. To decipher whether or not that's a flagrant one or not. Hard job. And I do think they understand the dynamics of Angel and Caitlin. I do. I think it's great for our game. Because it's like, like it's a sport. Treat us like a sport. Don't treat us anything other than being a sport. It happens in every sport. Soccer, basketball, football. It happens in every sport. So let it be. I'm gonna take the lead of Angel and Caitlin. And that lead is they said it was a foul. The officials got it right. We're moving on. That's what I'm gonna take their lead. Okay.
I agree with the guy. I just saw a basic foul. They just upgraded just because of what it is. Let's call it for what it is. So come on. Really?
I think it pulls people in.
Caitlin, I saw you having a long conversation with the official. Walk me through your perspective on the flagrant foul. And what was the point you were trying to make to her?
It's just a good take foul, you know. If either Angel gets wide open 2 points, or we send him to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. It's just a good take foul. Every basketball player knows that.
And at the post press conference, she was more clear. Like, this wasn't a flagrant foul. Don Staley's not taking the lead of Caitlin and Angel. She's taking the lead of Angel Reese and ignoring Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark knows damn well that wasn't a flagrant foul. And anybody, just like DJ Envy was saying, anybody that's watched basketball knows that wasn't a flagrant foul. This is the protection of Angel Reese. And this whole thing of Angel Reese being front and center, she's not skilled enough to be running around pretending she's Caitlin Clark's rival. And she doesn't have thick skin enough to deal with the blowback of her personality. It's going to crush Angel Reese. She will tap out this season. That's my prediction. Like what you saw? Hit that like button. Subscribe.
Yeah, and that's the question, The question is probably when will she tap out? Because if if the Chicago Sky is out of the playoff race, then we can maybe see it. I don't know if she's going to ask for a trade, because I don't know if she's even tradable at this point right now. I think Chicago Sky is just going to be stuck with her. And then, of course, we're going to keep seeing highlights of Cardoso just like, damn, I'm going to give up. And then, other teammates, or I'll just hang out at the wing and then hope she passes me the ball. But yeah, she's a detriment to the Chicago Sky. They know it, but they just gonna placate, and that's the sad part about this. So, yep, we'll see. We'll see when. That's the question. When? All right. If any of you enjoyed this content, please give me the HKO special. Help the king out. Hit the like, subscribe, and comment. And wherever you are, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next